And Jacob came unto Isaac his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. All right, let's go back over this and see what the Bible's telling us here. See what God's trying to tell us. And he said, and God said unto Jacob, arise and go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau, thy brother. God's telling Jacob to go back to Bethel. You know, I got thinking about that. Go back to Bethel. You know, in Knox County, they've got a church called New Bethel Baptist Church out in Crane's Nest. And I've always heard that name, but I didn't know the meaning of it. Bethel is where you meet God, where God talks to you, see. And God was telling him, go back to Bethel. He's telling Jacob. And, you know, that's what we need to do as people. You know, this is the week of Easter this week, and we need to really go back to Bethel this week and focus on God. Get our mind off material things, get our mind off the things of this world, but focus on Jesus, see. And we got to stay at Bethel every day. See, where people get wronged at is they get asleep and slumber in their salvation. That means, you know, they get saved, they go to church, and it becomes a routine, see. And they get where they dreading to go, you know. They've lost that zeal for God. And see, we don't need to get away from God, backslide to God. We need to go back to Bethel and stay hot for God. You know, the Bible tells us if we're lukewarm, He'll spew us out of our mouths. See, that's why we got to stay at Bethel every day. Yeah. And the Bible talks, Jacob, see, that's where God appeared to him when he was tore up, see. His brother, he was scared that his brother Esau was going to kill him. And see, when we get tore up, you know, when storms come in our life like sickness, death, financial problems, losing our job, marriage problems, divorce, drugs in our family, cousins in jail. You know, we go to Bethel, see, we go to God and we tell God, say, God, we start crying out to Him. But see, what we need to do is talk to God every day. We need to get a new Bethel in our lives. We need to set a Bethel aside every day, see. This is more than going to church on Sunday. This is more than going to church on Wednesday night. This is a personal relationship with the Lord, see. And we got to be at Bethel every day, talking to Him, reading the Bible, praying, fasting, seeking God's face. And see, when we stay at Bethel every day, that peace comes over our lives. You know, bad storms are coming to our lives and bad things. But see, if we're at Bethel, though, see, we're having a relationship with God. And you know, the other day I said this myself, I don't care what happens in this world. I'm going to focus on Jesus. See, the devil, his job is to deceive us. He wants us to fall asleep and slumber. But the Bible tells us to watch and pray. Watch and pray. You know, I've heard people talking the other day about the full moon, you know, the blood moon coming. But see, if you're already at Bethel, you're already watching and praying, and you're having a relationship with the Lord, and you're not going to get tore up about all this stuff. Because why? Because you're already focused on Jesus, see. And you know, the Bible, He already tells us to watch and pray. Watch and pray and not get tied up in this world, see. Focus on the Lord. If we focus on Him every day and we're at Bethel every day, you get a peace in your life. And you care less what goes on in this world. You know, God can fix what we mess up for 20 years. God can fix it in a minute. He's an awesome God. He's an almighty God. And when He said, if ye love us, we'll keep His commandments. And we are his friends if we obey him. So if we love him back by keeping his commandments, don't be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. Love him with all of our hearts. You know, that's the first commandment. Then the second is love thy neighbor, see. And if we do that, see, we're walking in the will of God. You know, the Bible tells us, only he that doeth the will of the Father shall enter in the kingdom of heaven. And when we're walking with God, we're walking in peace and happiness. And we don't care what's going on. Because you know what? We know we're in the hands of Jesus. You know, God's taking care of us. Our children might be sick today, but tomorrow they'll call you back and say, I'm feeling better. And you say, thank God. How come? Because when we're doing God's will, we're praying, and God hears us. And the Bible tells us the prayers of the righteous availeth much. You know, regardless of what's going on, God can get involved. He can fix it in a minute. What we try to fix ourselves in 35 years,